Welcome to 6th grade. We are so excited to have you in our classes and getting to know you these first few days. This will be your first video to go with our first unit about fractions. This episode is called The Secret Life of, not pets, but fractions. So follow along. This will be just a little review of things you learned in 5th grade. Let's start by taking a look at the basics of fractions. So we have the number 8 3/4. This 8 right here is a whole amount, so it is a whole number. In the number 8 3/4, the number 3 represents the numerator. The numerator tells me how many pieces of an amount I have. Then we have the number 4, which represents the denominator. The 4 tells us, or the denominator tells us, how many slices there are total in the given number that we are discussing. Sometimes modeling fractions helps us better understand what a fraction actually represents. So let's take a look at how I could model a fraction. Let's say my husband ate 3/4 of a cake. And I want to know, what would 3/4 look like? Well, let's take a look at this rectangle on the bottom. So first I look at the denominator. It tells me there are 4 sections. They should be equal, but I'm sorry, these aren't equal, but normally it would be 4 equal sections. And my husband, I'm going to pick blue since for my husband, he ate 3 of those. So he ate 3/4, so he ate more than half of the cake. Okay, now let's pick another fraction. Let's do 3/10. Okay, if I'm looking at 3/10, I would need to break this into 10 sections. So there's 3, now I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10. So let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I miscounted. Here, we'll put it right in there. 9 and 10. And let's say I ate 3/10 of a candy bar. So 3/10 would look like this. That means I still have half of a candy bar left to eat. So when you're struggling with fractions, model it. It can really help you compare fractions. I'm sure some of you are wondering why I called this The Secret Life of Fractions. Well, fractions are kind of sneaky. Let's take a look at 2/10 and think about it maybe as a ratio. A ratio is a way to compare two things. So let's think of this if I said the 2 represents the amount of girls I have in my class, and the 10 represents the total amount of students. So I could say 2/10 of my class is girls, and that's also known as a ratio. Fractions also are disguised as division problems. This little line means divided by, so when you see it in a fraction, you should think divided. This 24/8 really just means I have 24 pieces, but I need them in 8s. How many pieces would I have? Whole amounts would I have? Well, 8 goes into 24, 3, so I have 3 whole amounts. If you think of a number like 21/8, 21 doesn't evenly go into that 8. And we also call this an improper fraction because there is a bigger number on top and it's not in its simplest form. So I'm still thinking, how many times can 8 go into 21? It can go in there 2 whole times, which is 16. And so I can do 21 minus 16, and I would still have 5/8 left over. Another secret fractions has is they can change into decimals. If you think of the number, for example, we talked about today in class, a half, and the decimal 5/10, I can change a half into 5/10 by simply dividing like we talked about on the last slide, which we will actually do in class, so we are not going to jump ahead to that. But I want you to realize these two are equal. They're just the same number written in different forms. One is in fraction form, one is in decimal form. Another example, 1/4. That fraction is 25/100. They mean the same thing. They represent part of a whole. Well, that's all I have for the intro to fractions. If you have any questions, let me know tomorrow in class and I will go over them. Here's a really short quiz. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. You may use your own name. You may use a fake name. It doesn't matter for this one. You'll just go to join.quiziz.com and use the code 783822.